It all starts when a young boy wakes up in the snow, but he does not remember who he is. He walks around in the cold and is suddenly attacked by a giant insect with claws bigger than his whole body, like he does not have enough problems already. The boy runs away in fear, but he is not fast enough and he gets caught easily by the monster. Well, it is kind of hard to run in snow without shoes. However, as soon as the beast tries to eat him, the boy falls through the snow into a glowing cave. The boy is happy to be alive, but his happiness is short-lived as the insect comes after him again. It's clear the universe hates him. Just as it is about to attack the boy, it gets devoured by a giant slime monster. Thank you, universe, and he looks on in terror. Soon after, a human face appears from the terrifying monster and whispers the word Umakeko. Maybe the slime is the boy's father. Would that make him half slime, half human? While he tries to make sense of the situation, a girl in a hooded robe appears and throws a flash grenade, thereby rescuing the young man. And now he would never know if the slime was his father or is the monster a female. Outside the cave, the young girl reveals her name is Kwan, but the boy doesn't remember his name. They arrive at Kwan's tent shortly after and she gives him some warm clothes to wear, but he doesn't know how to wear them. She teases him a little and teaches him how to properly wear them. Guess he won't be having the naked dream then. Afterward, they head to a nearby village, but the boy quickly gets tired and decides to take a rest despite stopping a few moments ago. Even though he just ran for his life, Kwan informs him that they have to leave the woods before the sun goes down or they will be devoured by the monsters of the forest. I would never understand why monsters like humans so much. Find another snack, you bullies. The boy wonders if they are actually more creatures like the slime monster, and Kwan reveals that the monster is called the Curse. Yeah, that's not scary at all. She reveals they are peaceful creatures unless someone gets into their territory. Who would be dumb enough to enter the cursed territory? Wait, never mind. Kwan decides to be his guardian and promises to take care of him till the end. She scares him a bit about the monsters eating him, which makes him quickly get on his feet and follow her. Not being a very good guardian now, are we? While they walk, he notices that Kwan has a tail and decides to pull it, but this makes her angry. He wonders how she has a tail and furry ears, but Kwan refuses to answer and hits him instead. After walking for a while, the sun goes down and they are forced to spend the night in the forest. Kwan tries to jog his memory, but he doesn't remember anything. While they talk, the boy falls asleep and Kwan is fascinated by his face. Doesn't she have one too? Weird. The next day, they arrive at the village and the boy notices that everyone in the town has a tail, just like Kwan. So he is the weird one. Ha! Meanwhile, Kwan goes to the inn to receive the medicine delivery she came for. She decides to spend the night at the inn with the boy, but she is unable to put his name in the register because he doesn't have one. She chooses to name him Haku because she is his guardian, even though he wanted a very cool name. Haku? Seriously? Haku? Not long after, the innkeeper brings a huge meal to them, and Kwan wastes no time in sinking his teeth into it. Yikes. She notices Haku is not eating, and she teaches him how to eat amamuni, which is a local delicacy. Haku tries it and loves it. Soon after, Haku has his bath, and he notices that his feet have been torn up due to the journey, but he does not realize that Kwan is spying on him. I am guessing it's just for educational purposes. She prepares an ointment and applies it to his wound, which stings him a lot, but he feels better. The next morning, Kwan tries to get a job, but he is too weak, and he is forced to work in a broken grind mill. No wonder his slime father hates him. Haku is unable to move the mill by hand, so he fixes the broken water wheel instead, which makes the mill work. Lazy, but smart. I like it. So, while he prepares to take a nap, a bearded man sees him and is amazed by Haku's incredible innovation. However, Haku begs him not to tell anyone because he does not want to repair more work, and the man agrees. Now, that's a friend for life. Kwan then arrives just as he is about to sleep and finds out about the water wheel, but scolds him for sleeping. On their way back to the inn, she deduces that Haku is better at using his head than his hands and decides to get a job that suits him. They arrive at the inn where they meet the bearded man, who introduces himself as Ukon. Later that night, a villager is gruesomely attacked by a mysterious monster. The following morning, Kwon and Haku have their breakfast alongside Ukon. While they eat, the innkeeper gives them a bonus in their pay for fixing the water wheel. The innkeeper calculates their pay, but Haku is able to state the total amount before she could finish, and this surprises Kwon. Afterward, she gives him a series of complex math questions, and Haku answers them all quickly, stating that they were easy questions. Oh, if only I had him for my math tests. Kwon realizes that he is good at maths and informs him that he would find work easily in the capital, rather than the village, which is filled with menial jobs. While they talk, they hear some villagers talking about another Gijiri, and they decide to check it out. Kwon heals the victims with her medicine, and Ukon sees her treating their injuries with her ointment. Back in town, Ukon reveals that he had been asked to get rid of some Gijiri by the elder, and he wants Kwon to accompany him because she is an herbalist. Kwon agrees to follow him, but only if Haku gets to come with them, and Ukon accepts her condition, much to Haku's dismay. What a guarding guardian. Am I right? On their way to the forest, Haku meets Mororo and asks him what a Gijiri is. Mororo explains the monster to him, and Haku becomes even more scared as he believes they are gigantic monsters. Way to go, Mororo. Way to go. Later on, they set a trap for the Gijiris, using rotten meat as bait, and then hide behind the rocks nearby, waiting for the beasts. Haku wonders how they would capture a gigantic monster with such a small trap, and he anticipates the monster's arrival. Careful what you wish for. Shortly after, the monsters come out of the forest and get trapped. However, Haku is surprised to see how small they are. Mororo then comes out of hiding and burns the monsters with his magic, although some of the monsters survive, prompting Ukon and his men to intervene. After the battle, Haku receives a drink from one of Ukon's men, but he is killed by a gigantic Gijiri, while a terrified Haku watches. Remember, always stay hydrated or a giant monster is going to kill you, or something like that. Suddenly, an army of Gijiris appear and attacks them, but Ukon and his men manage to hold them off. Moments after Haku is about to be killed by a Gijiri, Kwon tosses him a weapon and he defends himself. Unable to defeat the monsters, Haku and the rest retreat to a safe place after distancing the monsters with a flash bomb. Ukon thanks Haku for saving Mororo's life, but he states that he would never endanger his life again. Kwon starts treating the injured soldiers, but they quickly realize that the giant Gijiri is following them. Ukon decides to kill it before it destroys the village and sends his wounded men back to the village. Haku also tries to leave, but Kwon stops him and finds out the monster after them is a Boro Gijiri, a special kind of Gijiri. Mororo is unable to come out with a plan to kill the Boro Gijiri, but Haku has an idea to lure out the curse from the snowy mountains and have it swallow the Boro Gijiri as it did with the giant insect. And don't get me started on how wrong that sounds. Kwon agrees to the plan and she hands Haku a grenade before heading out to the mountain to lure the curse out of its territory. Ukon starts fighting with the Gijiris to buy Kwon some time, but she draws out the curse. He uses his sword to bring down a pillar to crush the Boro Gijiri, but the monster survives and attacks Mororo. However, Ukon steps in just in time. The monster attacks him, breaking his sword, and tries to kill him, but Ukon stops the Boro Shikoku from killing him with his raw power. Haku decides to use the flash grenade, but it doesn't detonate as he didn't remove the safety. Ukon then removes the safety with his legs, blowing up the monster and freeing himself from death. Kwon arrives with the curse, but she is unable to get to where they are, and Haku tells Ukon to smash the ground using his previous attack. The ground crumbles and they all start to fall, but Ukon and Kwon save Haku and Mororo from falling. The Boro Gijiri tries to attack them once again, but it is swallowed by the curse. Still sounds wrong, and Ukon hopes the curse would return to its territory. After consuming the beast, the Tatari then notices Haku and leaves without attacking them. Back at the village, they celebrate their success, and Ukon bonds with Haku while they pay their respect to the soldier who was killed by the Boro Gijiri, all because he didn't hydrate. The next day, Haku meets a Hororon bird who is looking for Ukon, but Haku is no longer surprised by monsters and talks to the creature. Not long after, Ukon arrives, and Haku wonders how he is friends with a bird. However, a young girl appears, stating that she is not a bird. It turns out that the girl, Ruruti, is the youngest princess of Kujuri, and Ukon tells them that his job is to escort her back to the capital. He asks them to join him on his mission, and Kwon agrees without hesitation, even though Haku doesn't want to tag along. Doesn't matter what you think, bro. She states that Haku can easily find a job in the capital city, but he is not ready to start working soon. On their way to the city, two mysterious men watch them from a tree. The night falls, and they decide to set a camp to rest for the day. Shortly after, Ruruti brings Haku dinner. He compliments the meal, and she reveals that she made it herself as she likes to cook. While they talk, Kwon interrupts them and tells Haku that she wants to get some water from the river to have a bath. Ruruti decides to join her, but Haku volunteers to get the water as a show of appreciation for the food. However, the bucket proved to be too heavy for Haku to carry. Mororo tries to help him, but he hurts his back while trying to carry the water bucket and ends up spilling all the water. Haku decides to rely on the Hororon bird, Kokopo, but this makes Mororo angry as the bird is more capable than him. That has got to hurt his self-esteem. While they have their bath, Kwon senses the presence of the mysterious stalker, forcing the stalker to retreat as Kwon tries to give chase. The next morning, while traveling, the convoy encounters a distressed lady, Nosuri, whose cart is stuck in a rut. This is so going to end well. Ukon decides to help her, but the convoy is soon ambushed by bandits, and the girl, who is a thief, informs Ukon that they are stealing the cargo. Told ya. They tie up the convoy, but Haku figures out that Ukon is up to something, as he could have defeated the bandits with ease, and Ukon reveals that it is all a plot to destroy the bandits. Meanwhile, the bandits, led by Mozunu, arrive at their hideout through a hidden path behind a waterfall. The bandits are happy about their new hideout, as they don't have to worry about the guard from the city ever catching them while they carry out their criminal activities. After learning of their plans, an enraged Nosuri decides to end her partnership with the bandits, and Aogi reveals some of Ukon's men hiding in one of the cargo. They attack the bandits, while Ukon heads to the secret hideout. Realizing that they are outnumbered, the bandits are forced to flee through a secret passage created for emergencies, and the passage leads them directly to Haku, Kwon, and Ruruti. They decide to take them as hostages to aid their escape. However, Mororo decides to stop them using magic, but he takes too long to activate his power and gets knocked out instantly. Mozunu makes fun of Haku for his inability to save the girls and spits in his face, which makes Kokopo angry, and he brutally beats them. They try to escape, but they are arrested by the guards from the city, and the Imperial General Oshutoru praises Haku for protecting the princess, but he informs the general that the bird did all the work. Oshutoru leaves with the criminal and tells Haku that he looks forward to meeting him again someday. Later on, the convoy arrives at the capital, and Haku and his friends are amazed at the size of the city. Mororo attempts to be their guide, but he is rejected with a kick to the face from Kokopo, and he blames Haku for his misfortune. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If this video is the most popular of our latest collection of recaps, we will make a part 2. Let us know what series you want us to recap next in the comments below.